the TWG proposes a radical shift in how Kenya prevents and responds to this violence. We have outlined actionable recommendations in this report, some immediate term, some middle term, and some long term. And these include, Your Excellency, we are requesting that you declare GBV, including femicide, a national crisis, because indeed it is. And the reason for this recommendation, Your Excellency, is that once you declare it a national crisis, it will get the highest response from the highest office. And it will get urgent, coordinated, and survivor-centered action. Your Excellency, we identified critical gaps that fuel impunity. We found siloed and uncoordinated efforts, both by government and non-governmental organizations, towards combating GBV, including femicide. This has resulted in lack of focus in activities and accountability of resources from both government and development partners. We found insufficient resource allocation targeting combating of GBV, including femicide, at both national and county levels. And this hinders survivors' access to legal, medical, and psychosocial support. Institutions of justice, Your Excellency, such as the judiciary, the police, the DCI, the ODPP, etc., remain too underfunded to effectively respond to GBV and femicide violations. We found that currently our laws treat targeted killing of women merely as murder. There is no distinct offense of femicide in our laws, in the Penal Code. Yet femicide is not just a killing. It is a killing of a woman because she's a woman, often rooted in intimate partner violence, misogyny, and control, harmful cultural practices, systemic gender inequality. And therefore, treating it as an ordinary murder case erases the motive and the structural violence behind it, and prevents us from tracking the true scale of the problem and applying sentences that match the gravity of that hate crime. 1 year ago, through Gazette Notice number 109 of January 10th, 2025, you tasked this technical working group with a solemn mandate to look into the face of a national crisis that has shaken the conscience of our republic. The escalating scourge of gender-based violence, GBV, and the brutal killing of women, girls, now widely recognized as femicide. Today, sir, we stand before you not merely to present a document, but to amplify the voices of thousands of survivors and the silenced cries of those we have lost. In executing this mandate, we traversed all the 47 counties, held town halls, engaged experts, and received over 2,000 written submissions. What we found, sir, is a nation in pain, but also a nation demanding action. Both men and women, boys and girls, are affected by gender-based violence, manifesting differently and at different scales. Your Excellency, we've had random debate. We have the law on murder, and murder carries a mandatory sentence. Why do you want a femicide law? And we are telling them femicide is different. And if we treat it as any other homicide, then we miss out. And as I have said, Your Excellency, we miss out on the motives. And this will affect the way we investigate it, the way we prosecute it, the way we adjudicate it. And basically, that is what has been happening. Your Excellency, we found that families and communities are often the greatest barrier to justice. In many counties, clear criminal acts, including defilement and murder, are withdrawn from the justice system and settled through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, or maslaha. This prioritizes clan harmony over the life and dignity of the victim. We also found that in some communities, harmful cultural practices such as wife beating are seen as normal. Female genital mutilation, child marriage, and sexual exploitation are deeply embedded and often not reported as a violence, but rather seen as normal cultural behavior, thus contributing to GBV, including homicide. Culture also hinders men from reporting gender-based violence, especially to the police and other law enforcement agencies. Your Excellency, we also found a total disconnect between our Constitution's promise of respect and protection of human rights of all, irrespective of their gender. This is mostly due to ignorance of the constitutional guarantees among many of the citizens. GBV and femicide are fueled by lack of respect for the rights of men and women in this country. Your Excellency, we also found that our response mechanisms are siloed. Survivors are forced to navigate a disjointed system of police, hospitals, the courts, often facing traumatization at every turn due to a lack of resources and training. We also found a data management system that is inadequate, consequences of which render survivors invisible, denies them protection, leads to poor cases tracking across police, health facilities, prosecution, and the courts, as well as fueling of impunity for perpetrators. We also recommend the establishment of a dedicated GBV and femicide police unit to strengthen prevention, investigation, and prosecution of GBV and femicide-related crimes. This unit will recognize GBV and femicide as distinct, complex, and high-risk offense requiring specialized skills, survivor-centered approaches, and coordinated responses. We also recommend, Your Excellency, that you launch a nationwide campaign, and you, Your Excellency, as the champion of that campaign, on what constitutes GBV and femicide, urging for behavioral change through engagement of men and women and boys and community to challenge patriarchal and cultural norms, as well as promote gender equality, human rights, and the respect of all genders as part of our cultural evolution. We recommend that Your Excellency orders immediate installation of CCTV services, cameras in premises, and we have in mind the A, B, and Bs, because we found this is where most of the femicides are taking place. There is no accountability, there are no records. And so, Your Excellency, we pray that you look at that proposal. Now, we are also recommending the formation, the establishment of a multi-sectoral committee headed by somebody we are calling a chief coordinator who understands the philosophy and the ethos of this report, and the same to be located within the presidency. And its work shall be to undertake and oversee a cohesive and coordinated implementation of the recommendations of this report. We can't afford to lose it. It will also operationalize the GBV and Femicide Response Fund. It will also undertake fundraising activities towards the fund. I believe, Your Excellency, that this team, the great team of 43 members of us that you appointed, has great potential. They have shown dedication, they have shown skill, they have shown understanding of the scourge of GBV, including femicide. I would not be overstretching if I said, as you put up this implementation committee, you can pick from one. I can vouch for any one of them, Your Excellency. Legislative reform, we have several, but I'll pick out the most important. We recommend, Your Excellency tasks the Attorney General to initiate immediate amendment of the Penal Code to define and codify femicide as a distinct offense separate from murder or general homicide. We are recommending the establishment of the National GBV and Femicide Response Fund, which comprises the government, the private sector, and development partners. As I started off by saying, Your Excellency, we spend money out there without coordination. Donors give money. People do little things here and there. There's no coordination. Government spends money. And for the private sector, we want to tell the public that GBV and femicide is a security issue. And if they don't help us to combat GBV, they will lose out in business. So we make it our collective effort to finance this fund. It is a perpetual fund. And Your Excellency, we are asking that the government ring-fences from Treasury nothing less than 15 million per annum, commencing financial year 2026-2027. And the development partners, some of them who have actually approached us and say, we have something. We put it in that fund. And what is the purpose of that fund? It will be to support survivors through emergency medical care. It will support psychosocial counseling and trauma care. It will help in legal aid, court support, and witness protection. It will provide for safe shelters, rescue centers, and temporary housing. It will help in economic integration of victims. Community education, and Your Excellency, we have requested you to launch this nationwide campaign, which is going to continue, and part of the funding will go into programs that will sustain that campaign. We want to engage men and boys in GBV prevention. Money will go there. School-based education on respect for equality and human rights, it will go there. Early warning and community protection, it will go there.